People, what's going on? How y'all doing? Doing? Y'all know it's that time now. We got to keep the blinds closed. We got to get ourselves straight. You know what I'm saying? Good evening, people. We got to shut some lights down. You know what I'm saying? We got to just chill out, man. We chilling out. You know. God has blessed us this day, and He has gave us the will to do His will and keep His will going. How y'all doing today, people? How y'all doing today? Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm just chilling, for to get this teaching in. We are discussing about Sabbath, the Sabbath. What, when, where, how, who, with who. We're just trying to figure this out because we've been we've been forced to do this, told to do this, and told to do that. We don't know the ins and out, the total ins and out of everything. As we come to know and find out this morning that we you got 7 Day Adventists, you got the Israelites, you got some other people that say respect the Sabbath. Do they even know what the Sabbath is? The Sabbath was called rest. That's what that means. Sabbath. Rest. That's what that means. Biblically, Sabbath means rest. R-E-S-T. Now, do it mean rest? Or do it mean the Lord's rest? He was why they celebrate, why Christians celebrate the Lord's Day. Some say the first day. Some say Sabbath Sunday. Some have all terminology of saying about the Sabbath. Good night. Hello. Check this out, people. I hope y'all doing okay. Hope y'all had a good day. We're just going to get into some teaching tonight. We're going to make sure that we know what's going on. We have discussed but now. And what I mean but now is the first day, dealing with Acts chapter 20, verses 7 and 8, right? Then we went to ages to come when John was talking, uh, was visited by Jesus or the angel in Acts chapter 1, and that's when he was visited, and it was told to write about. He was visited by Jesus. He was told to write about the 7 churches and about the end times. Okay, that's the time. That was ages to come. Now we're going to discuss time past. Why is this the Sabbath? Why is the rest? Everybody know in Genesis chapter 2, Jesus created the world. He created the heavens and the earth, the animals and man in 6 days, and then he rests on the seventh. On the seventh day, um, in Jewish history, is Friday nightfall to Saturday. So Saturday was the Sabbath, and they had to uphold to the Sabbath. Now, why did they have to do that? Okay. Now we finna get into some history and things like that, and I'm gonna show you why people are so hard on other people about going to church on either a Saturday or on the Sunday. And when Paul says, if you listen to my live this morning, Paul said man is responsible for himself, dealing with how he worshiped God. And man, these things, man, we're not really consciously getting, because we try to mix this stuff. Let me show y'all something. Go to Exodus. Go to Exodus. We talked about Genesis dealing with God when he rested on the seventh day. Now, if once we get in Genesis, let me explain. Exodus, explain what's going on. Moses led the people out of Egypt. God has freed them. God has freed them from Egypt, from bondage, and they are free. Now, they got to go through some other stuff because they started wilding out in the wilderness. And so God had to put some ground rules down. Okay. So go to Exodus. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 16. Real quick. Real quick. Exodus chapter 16. And we're going to look at verse. Let's see. Exodus chapter 16. And we're going to look at verse, I guess we start with 21. We start with 21. We're going to read it. This is where God was telling them to do something, right? So I want y'all to listen to this. I'm not going to expound on it too much because we got further reading to get. All right. So Exodus, we're going to start at Exodus 21. Okay. And they gathered it every morning. What it's talking about, this is talking about the law of gathering manna. Okay. The time to gather. And Moses was explaining to them how to do this. God had told them, the Lord had told them how to do this. Verse 21, and they gathered it every morning, and every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that that on the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. But bake that which ye will bake today, and seest that ye will seeth, and that which remaineth, overlay up for you to be kept until the morning, until what? Sabbath. Okay. Verse 24. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, eat that today, For today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the seventh day for to gather, they found none. God was resting. He was not going to feed them. They were supposed to pick enough for the Sabbath. Okay. Verse 28. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord has given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in this place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. What do you think was going through God's mind or God's interpretation of what was going on? These folks out, even though he said don't do that. Even though Moses told them, God said don't do that. But they did it anyway. They did it anyway. Okay? So that was told that, and that right there said that man cannot live by that. So they had to go ahead and make it concrete for them. If you read in Exodus, it's going to talk about a lot of laws. You go to the Leviticus, it's going to talk about a lot of laws. You go to Deuteronomy, it's going to talk about a lot of laws. People, it was a lot of laws, commandments, and civil laws. These civil laws were ordinance. Okay, you had commandments, and then you had ordinance. Ordinance, when you have a law or something, a law, just concrete law, you always gonna have subsection this, subsection that, subsection this. Those are ordinance. You're gonna always have an ordinance. You're gonna have a state law, and then you're gonna have a city ordinance. You're gonna have a federal law, then you're gonna have a state ordinance, a a city ordinance. So you got these it's levels to this. So moving on. Not gonna be up all night. Nah. Go to Exodus 20. Go to Exodus 20, people. Go to Exodus 20. All right. In Exodus 20, this is the breakdown of the Ten Commandments. All right. You know how the Israelites say you gotta keep the commandments, you gotta keep the commandments, right? So you got 10 commandments. What are those commandments that were discussed? I'm not gonna read all the commandments because the only thing I'm with is the Sabbath. The law against breaking the Sabbath. Okay. This was the Sabbath law, the fourth law. All right. And it reads, if you go to chapter 20, verses 8. Verse 8. Okay, we're gonna start at verse 8. But let me give you a little bit of history on what was going on. Moses was on Mount Sinai. God had told Moses, hey, make sure they straight. I'm coming down to see them. The Lord. The Lord. Okay. So I want y'all to understand something, man. I had read something to y'all a long time ago, and that Jesus said, and I need to find that real quick. I really do, because I want y'all to understand. But no, we ain't got to find that. Go watch my other videos. Jesus said that no one has taught. You know what? Let me try to find that for y'all people real quick. Real quick. Let me try to find that, because I want y'all to understand what's going on, people. A lot of people got their way of thinking, and let's see. I think the Lord bring it to my mind. One thing about the Holy Spirit, He gonna bring it to my mind. So I think we're in John. We're in John. Not First John, Second, Third John, but we're in John. Saint John. And let's see here. 5 and 2. Where is it at, Lord? We're gonna find it. Let me think. Anyway, we're gonna find it. But just think. I want y'all to listen to this real quick. All right, they got mad at Jesus for healing on the Sabbath. Okay, and so we got to understand something, that the Father, Jesus said in John, the 5th chapter, verse 22, for the Father judges no man, but has committed all judgment to the Son. So who wrote the 10 Commandments? Who came down? Who was that came down to see Moses? Was it God or was it Jesus? Was it the voice of God that told the 10 Commandments, that wrote the 10 Commandments? Or was it God? Because God judges no man, but God gives laws, commandments. Okay? So I want y'all to be clear on it. I want y'all to be understand this. No man has seen God. No man has seen God. But Moses went to the mountain. And this was when Moses was trans. Face looked like flesh. And I ain't talking about this flesh, like the flesh that when the skin ain't on it. So if you do your reading, and Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice, the trumpet. He sounded the trumpet long and waxed louder and louder, scared the people. So this was when the commandments were written. Okay? I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of lowdown. Now check this out, people. In verse 8 of Exodus chapter 20, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, and in it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it. Man, look, this is where the Sabbath come from. So I want y'all to pay attention to what's going on here. And then think about, don't forget about Christian Sabbath. Are they resting? No. They're in the synagogue. They're in the church. They're running around, praying, doing this, whatever, right? So I'm trying to show y'all that this is not for the new age. He is God is dealing with Israelites, not Gentiles. Okay? But you got to know the history of Sabbath to keep them separate. Check this out, people. Although I got some paper in here. I wasn't going to do this. But God has got me doing this. Paper. Cool. The Sabbath, I want y'all to understand this. So, you got the Sabbath. All right. You got the Sabbath right here. Then you're going to have the Christian Sabbath. I'm going to put C Sabbath because we got to get through. All right. So you got the Sabbath right here. I don't know if y'all can't see that. Y'all can't see that. But I'm just doing, you got the Sabbath right here, and then you got the Christian Sabbath. Okay? You got Jesus, the cross. You got the cross. You got the Sabbath. You got the cross. Now you got the Christian Sabbath that came after Paul. I mean, after the cross. Okay? So keep that in mind. So you got the Sabbath and the Christian Sabbath. In the middle is Christ. Now, I want you to go to Exodus chapter 31. This is going to be reiterated so much because it had to be drilled in their heads because there was still some rebellion going on. Okay? This is God's doing. I'm getting somewhere. Hold on. This is God's doing. Okay? So go to chapter 31 and we're going to look at verses we're going to look at verse 12. Okay? If you wonder what I'm looking at my concordance, right? Because I can't keep up with all this stuff. I gotta have some backup about these scriptures, okay? The reason why I want to make sure that I use my concordance is because I'm teaching y'all how to study the Bible, how to get to know God for yourself. You gotta have these books. You gotta have this material in order to really understand what's going on. If you just have your Bible, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost, people. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It just is what it is. Now, verse Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath, my Sabbaths, my Sabbaths, that's an S on the end. My Sabbaths ye shall keep. Stop right there. They are called my Sabbaths because they were commanded by God to be a sign between him and Israel. This is the covenant between them and from between him and Israel. Who is him? Moses. They are called my Sabbaths because they are commanded by God to be a sign between him and Israel. My Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you. People, is he talking about the Gentiles? Who is Moses' generation? Israelites. So the Sabbath, you got a lot of 7-day Adventists, right? You got the Israelites. They're saying some of them say they're white. They complain, they expound that they are the true Israelites, and then you got people of color that say they are the true Israelites. You are Gentiles. Point blank. So let's read on, people. Ye shall, verse 14, ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely die, shall surely be put to death. For whoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. People, let me tell you something. The 7-day Adventists ain't killing nobody. The Israelites are not killing nobody. Why? Because they go to jail. But they'll tell you that you need to abide by this. How? Hold on. Let me keep going. Let me not get ahead of myself. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe, and the Sabbath throughout their generation for a perpetual covenant. This is a perpetual covenant. Now, do we supposed to be honoring that? I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to show you. Go to, I ain't through yet, but go to Exodus 35. We running Exodus tonight. Exodus 35. Exodus 35. We trying to find out where the Sabbath come from and what is it. The Sabbath is rest. That's it. God said keep it holy because it's rest. First day, the Sabbath. First day of the week, the Sabbath, or a holy day. Okay? There was no command for us to be doing Sunday Sabbath. No command. We just got it, got a basics, a foundation for it, the holy day, because of Jesus when he was when he rose from the grave, Jesus when he visited the disciples, and the Pentecost. They were all done on Sunday. It all happened on a Sunday. That's what graduated us from Saturday to Sunday. Now, for those that do it on Saturday, they are still living by the law. Okay? Now, and this is, don't let them push you around or tell you anything different, because they're gonna try to deflect, and they're gonna try to manipulate, and they're gonna try to curse you for having service on the Sunday because they have it on the Saturday. They say that that is you're going to hell. That's abomination. Then you got the Israelites. You going to hell. That's an abomination. That is the devil's day, and all of that. This is what they're doing to people as a Christian ethnic. Okay, now, but I'm gonna tell you what the Christians are doing to other Christians. Check this out. Verse 1. And Moses gathered all the generation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which the Lord has commanded, that ye shall do them. 6 days, I'm sorry, did I say what I was reading? Chapter 35. Starting at verse 1. We have verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth worketh therein shall be put to death. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation upon the Sabbath day. Check this out. This seems a small thing to be penalized with death, but God wanted to impress upon perfect obedience and perpetual alertness to do this even in little things. He commanded that this and other details be obeyed like major commands. Jews consider this law as applied to fires for doing work, not to be keeping themselves warm or making light in their dwelling. Those who observed it strictly concerning warmth and light are said to have had the Gentiles to take care of such fires for them. What? You mean to tell me that they had us, Gentiles, doing it because God said that the Israelites could not set no fire, could not do nothing on the seventh day? So that brings me to what? That's why they had slaves. For that particular reason. So they had slaves as well. People, this runs so deep because we think that the Israelites was just the only ones in bondage. Now, I'm not saying that they all of them were slaves. They had good friends that came out of Egypt that was not Israelites. You think they was just Israelites? No, no. There was some Gentiles in there. But the Israelites were set apart from the world. They lived in the world, but they weren't of the world. Same thing with Christianity, with faith, with grace. You not of the world, but you live in the world. So, check this out, people. We almost do. I want you to get an understanding of what's really going on here. If I'm doing something so bad as not going to church on Sunday, now I'm going to talk about the gym part of it. If I'm doing so bad that I don't go to church on Sunday, right? They're going to tell me that I'm not doing my obligation to God. That if and grandma always told you, if you don't go to church, you going to hell. If you don't give God your first day of the week, you're going to hell. I heard this preacher say that. You always supposed to give God your first day of the week. Let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all supposed to give God every day of the week. And that's what we have done. We have put into place rituals and we're still living by the law, people. That's why we can't get past Sunday. That's why we can't get past the Lord's Day. That's why we're still in the same predicament every single day, is because we are living still by the law of the old Sabbath rest. But what did Paul say to those Gentiles? Come here, Paul. What did Paul say to those Gentiles? And some of them Jews that was probably listening too. What did he say, Paul? Paul, bring it to me. What did he say? What did you say to him? Because you had something for him. You had something for him, Paul. And I like what you had for him. I like what you had for him, Paul. Let's find it real quick. I'm going to find it real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Paul said something about, hold on, let me find it. Where is it at, Lord? Please show it to me. Show it to me. I think we're too far up. I'm going to find it. But let me talk to you for a minute. Paul had it dead to right what was going on with them people, with people judging each other, people. And Paul explained that we should not judge any other man or any other person's servant. That was not for us to judge. That was not in our way, in our reasoning for judging it. Okay, so let me find this real quick, people, because this is very, very important. That I think I know where it's at. Hold on, people. Hold on. Just give me a little bit. You know, I'm still working off the day. But I'm thank God y'all bearing with me. But where is it at? There we go. All right, go to. I got it. I think it's Romans 14. Let's see what Paul says in Romans. Like I told y'all, I done smoked too much weed in back in my day. So, you know, you got to charge it to my head, not my heart. But this is what Paul said in chapter 14. I read it this morning. And it reads like this. It says in verse 2, for one, but let's start at verse 1. Him that is weak in faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believes that he may eat all things, another who is all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God has received him. Verse 4, who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he shall be holding up, for God is able to make him stand. One man esteems one day above another, another esteems every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind whether or not he should do this or he should do that, or he should do what you want him to do or what God tells him to do. He should do what the Bible tells him to do. Paul says, let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. So, I'm not here to persuade y'all. I'm here to give you what the Word of God says. The Word of God is supposed to persuade you to do what it says. And if you don't be persuaded, that's on you. I've did my work, did my due diligence. Verse 6, he that regardeth the day, regardeth it unto the Lord. What day? Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? And he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doeth not regard it. He that eateth, eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks. And he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and giveth God thanks. For none of us liveth to him, and no man dies to himself. For whether we live, we live unto the Lord. And whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end, Christ both died and rose and revived the dead and living. People, you don't have to do what nobody tell you to do. Only thing you got to do is what God tell you to do. They use that Old Testament teaching, and if they tell you, look, if you don't come to church, this gonna happen, that's gonna happen, they're judging you. They're judging you. And if you come to church on a Sunday, this gonna happen, they're judging you. We're not judging the 7-day Adventists. I'm not judging the 7-day Adventists. I'm not judging the Israelites or any other person, place, or thing that does something out of the ordinary. But if they do anything uh, anything concerning the law, the New Testament judges that. Paul's writings judges that. Jesus judges that. People, man, look, this is one of the things that we have failed to realize, that people sneak in law as Christians. They sneak in law to get you to do what they want you to do. You got to come to church on a Sunday. You got to come to church on a Saturday. Look, people, it shouldn't offend you what day I go to church. It shouldn't offend you what day I don't go to church. But it offends a lot of you, because y'all still holding on to traditions, ceremonies, and rituals. And that's what messed it all up. That's what caused so much problems in the churches of the day. So many problems. Before I go, let's go back to John chapter 14. I want to show you something that God has showed me. No, I think it's John 5. I'm sorry, John 5. John 5. John 5. And it reads this, people. It reads this. This is what it is talking about. Verse 19. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. Greater works, people. Christian Sabbath, greater works. Do you know that from the Sabbath to the Christian Sabbath, it didn't stop there. God is not through with the Sabbath. But we got to understand, and we'll discuss it in the morning. We got to understand that the Sabbath was not made a law like the Sabbath was made a law in the Sabbath in the Old Testament. In the time past, it was made a law. You were stoned to death if you burnt a fire out of there. Stoned to death. And none of these Israelites are stoning anybody. Half of this stuff, they cooking. They even crank up their car that has a combustion that have fire. So, as Christians, should we go in there into their place and say, "Hey, you not abiding to the law, so we're gonna stone you"? No, because we stand on grace. We're saved by grace. So we're gonna give you the same grace that Jesus have gave us. It's just Bible, baby. It's just Bible. It's just Bible. So little people, I love y'all, man. I do this because I love you. I want y'all to know that the Sabbath is much more deeper than what you think it is. The Sabbath is not held in a little bubble. The Sabbath is not contained in just one day. The Christian Sabbath is not just contained in one day. The Lord's Day is not just contained in one day. The Lord's Day is the Lord's Day. Now, whenever you want to celebrate, whenever you want to practice the Lord's Day or want to acknowledge the Lord's Day, traditionally it's Sunday. I told y'all the other day that 300 years before they made it a law, God didn't make it a law. Man did. Constantine. So God didn't make it a law. Man, from the time God was risen from the grave on that Sunday to the time Jesus was risen from the grave on that Sunday. And they were seen, and he visited the disciples on that Sunday to the day of Pentecost on that Sunday. You could say that yes, this is the Lord's day. Did he imply that? Did he say that? Did he tell you that? Paul and all the rest of them only celebrated Sabbath because of what? Because of those three things that happened. But if we still celebrate the Sabbath like it was supposed to be celebrated, oh my God, a lot of us be dead. I go to work on Sunday. I used to go to work on Sunday. I cut the yard on Sunday. I go fishing on Sunday. People, let me tell y'all something. Stop getting caught up in these traditions because y'all turn them into superstition because of the law. That's where grandma got it from. That's where grandpa got it from Exodus, from the law, from the 5 books of laws. That's where they got it from. So now the Christians don't put that stuff together and they manipulating you. They telling you you gotta go to church. You gotta be here. You can't miss a day. When you can have church with your family. When you can have service with yourself. When you can assemble yourself with other believers in the neighborhood. When y'all can sit down and get together and have service. People. Paul said you can't judge a man for what they do for God, man. And we made this stuff so hard, it's pitiful. I'm not telling nobody not to go to church. I'm just saying, if you forced to do it, why are you doing it? If you were persuaded to do it, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you love God? Or are you doing it because grandma said so? Wrong reasons, people. Do things for God because you love Him. This is where we at right now. We're not in all that other stupid stuff about ordinance and laws, and we're not in that. We in grace. We in love. So you got to be able to show God your love, people. That's why we can't do stuff. That's why we're not coming to God in spirit and in truth. And we don't see wonders and we don't see signs. We see a whole bunch of foolishness going on. Folks falling off of pool pits, jumping on oh man, jumping on pianos, jumping on chairs, and they just doing a whole bunch of monkey situations. And y'all think those are wonders? Y'all think that's the signs? That's foolishness, people. Mercy, no grace. Y'all just living by works. And all those things is causing you to lose your salvation. We talked about that last week. That's why if you don't really know the Sabbath, Sabbath means rest. Christian Sabbath, what it mean? What do it mean? The Lord's Day, the first day of the week. You see what I'm saying? It's too many words to go by because everybody got their own interpretation of things. When you a Gentile, when you just like you, if you're not a Jew, I say it like that. If you're not a Jew, you can't live like a Jew. If you're not a Jew, you can't live by the law. They couldn't live by the law. But here we go. We got the Baptists and we got the Kojic and we got the Seventh-day Adventists. We got all these different denominations, and they putting in the law on you guys. They sneaking it in there. That's why you feel obligated to go to church. You feel obligated to pay 10%, which is a lie, and you feel obligated to be a pallbearer, to be a usher. You feel obligated, but you're not doing it for God. You're doing it for that man or that woman or that church or that place. I mean, look, people, get to know God and get to know God for yourself. Get to know God for yourself, man. We got to stop doing this stuff, man. So now we know that the Sabbath was rest, and it was a command, and you had to do it. If you didn't do it, you what? You died. Look, people, I'll see y'all in the morning. We're gonna discuss some more things out of the Sabbath. Come Thursday, we're gonna have OTN73 again, and we're gonna open some more up out of the Old Testament so we can understand that when I drew this, there's a right way to divide the word of truth, people. This line, when he say rightly divide the word of truth, you got the Sabbath, you got the cross, you got the Christian Sabbath. Rightly divide the word of truth, people. Rightly divide it. Rightly divide it. Where that come from? 2 Timothy, 15th chapter. 2 Timothy, 2nd verse. 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, 15th verse. People. Rightly divide the word of God. Look, people, got bedtime, man. Good night. Man, I'm going to see y'all in the morning. Y'all be well. Remember, people, remember, this is not a game. Don't let nobody play with your salvation. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Get y'all some rest. I'll see y'all in the morning. I'll see y'all in the morning.